I'm going to tell you a little story. This was something I told part of the story once before, because I had another channel on YouTube a little while ago, and I had told it on that channel, but I had that many different things on it, and it was all a bit mixed up. So I deleted everything and started again afresh with this channel, and the story, I had only told half of the story, and then I had updated it later on. Well, it had quite a lot of views, and people had seen it, and one or two had asked what had happened. And I did update it, but because it wasn't all in one piece, I think I'll tell you the whole thing all together now anyway. Well, my husband had an Uncle Daniel, and when my husband died in 2014, in 2017, I got a letter addressed to him, and naturally I opened the letter, and it was from a people finder company, and they were asking if my husband was related to this particular person called Daniel Smith, and they had had my husband's name, my name, and my three sons were on, and that were all these. Was he the same person? Was I his wife and these his children? And was he related to a Daniel Smith? And I thought I knew I'd heard my husband mention an Uncle Daniel years ago, but I never knew him, and he didn't really know him very well. He'd only been a small boy the last time he'd seen him, but he had told us that he had lived down south somewhere, and that he was blind, and he'd had an accident when he was a child and had lost one of his legs. So they were things that would be recognisable if it was him or not. Anyway, there was an email address on the letter, so I sent an email back, and I told them that they had the right person, that that was my husband, and that I was his wife, and his children were all the right dates and everything they had on the letter. But I said, as my husband had died in 2014, it was nothing to do with me. But they said, as I was his surviving spouse, that there was some money, he had left some money in some bank accounts and had made no will, and there was no other relatives they could find, and they were trying to find out who the relatives were, because this money would go to the treasury after a certain number of years. And so anyway, they said that could I make a claim for this money? And anyway, I did. I put a claim in, and then I got a letter from a solicitor saying that it was over a certain amount, so that the solicitors had to be involved, and that they would, whatever money was in that was left, that they would take money out for letters and any work they had to do, and that the people finder company would get their share out of it as well for the work they had done looking us up. And I thought, oh, well, fair enough. So the letter they sent forms in for me to fill in about my husband, and whether he had left a will or not, and my children's dates of birth and everything, and did I know of any other relatives. And I told him of all the relatives. My husband was one of 4 brothers, and there was only 2 surviving brothers left, and I gave them their names and addresses, and I told him about his other brother that had died, but he had 2 sons, so they would be entitled to whatever his share would have been. And in the meantime, anyway, I've got an account on an ancestry site, and I do a lot of research and that. And I had been researching my family, my husband's family, and that's how I knew about the Uncle Daniel. And through this research I had done, a lady contacted me because we had relatives in that she had the same relatives on her list. She turned out to be my husband's cousin, and we'd had been in touch a few times. So I got in touch with her, and I told her about the letter, because she would be one of the people that were entitled to some of this money. And well, we both started laughing, because she had been doing research as well, and she says, well, my Uncle Daniel was one of 7 children. And when we looked up, we worked everything out from the ancestry site, and that there was 2 girls, I think, and 5 boys or something like that. But anyway, 2 of the boys had died during the war, and there was no family, and another one had died childless. So there was only 4 families that would benefit from this money that was in the that would go to the treasury if we didn't claim it. And anyway, we left it at that, and I got back onto this people finders, and I gave them all the names and addresses of the rest of the family, because my brother-in-law, who I'm in touch with quite a lot, he told me the names of the sisters, because the people company knew there were other relatives, but they didn't know the married names of the sisters, and my brother-in-law told me, so I got in touch with them and told them, gave them their names so that they could sort it out with their families as well. And anyway, never thought nothing of it, and then I'm looking, I was doing research one day, and I was looking up Uncle Daniel, and I found some information that somebody had put on, and they had actually put his I'd never really noticed the death thing before, but he had died in 1985. Well, this letter I got from the People Finder said that this Daniel Smith had died in 2005. And I thought, well, it can't be the same person. Maybe I must have the date wrong or something. So I contacted my husband's cousin, and we were talking about it, and she said, well, I knew Uncle Daniel. I was at his funeral. He died in 1985. And I thought, well, they've got something wrong here. So I contacted the People Finder, and I told them that our Uncle Daniel had died in 1985, and that this Daniel who had died in 2005 couldn't be any relation. And they said they would look into it anyway. And my husband's cousin she got in touch with them as well, and she told them about it. And so I thought, oh, well, that's sorted, then it's nothing to do with us. We're not going to get anything out of it. And never thought no more about it. And quite a few months went by. I'm not sure how long. It could have been nearly a year, I think. And then anyway, I got this letter in the post, and there was a cheque in this letter for just over £500. And there was a letter with a breakdown of what was in this money that Daniel had left in these bank accounts was about just over £17,000. And they had claimed that between the People Finder and the solicitors' letters and what have you, going backwards and forwards, out of £17,000, there was £8,000 left to share between our 4 families, which shouldn't have been shared between us really, because it wasn't ours. But then I got in touch with my husband's cousin, and I told her about the letter, and she was laughing. She said she had gotten a letter as well with a cheque for the same amount. And we got in touch with some of the other family members that we knew of, and they had also gotten cheques and that. And the only solution we could come to was that these People Finders and the solicitors had decided that spent all this money, because they would have had to pay for, the People Finder would have had to pay for the solicitors' letters and everything, that they would have had to pay for whatever information they had found out, birth certificates and all the rest of it, and that they were going to have their money back whether we were the correct families or not. So I thought, hey, it's better in our pocket than the treasury, because not being any other family and not knowing who it belonged to, it was going to go to the treasury anyway. So anyway, I got to put that money in my bank account, and I had a holiday, went towards my holiday, and the rest of the family probably did the same, but why look a gift horse in the mouth? I didn't. So anyway, if you like that story, give it a like and subscribe.